Okay, in this video, I'm going to be taking you guys through 5 simple, crucial steps when it comes to going from skinny to jacked. Now, me personally, I've seen it all. I've been fat, I've been skinny fat. I do know what it's like to be skinny, and I do know what it takes to put on weight, to put on mass. So these are 5 things that you need to make sure you're doing. Number 1, I only just started my first bulk, believe it or not. So for 2 to 3 years, I wouldn't track calories, I wouldn't track protein, which is not the best thing to do and not the best way to go about trying to maximize your chances of building muscle. If you want to see faster results, if you want to see better results in the long run, then I would advise a clean bulk as opposed to main gaining. So when I was in my first 2 years of training, I would main gain. I would just eat at maintenance calories, which is basically how much calories you burn in a day. And eventually this started out really good, right? Because I was gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time. But after a year or so, it stopped working for me. I wasn't shedding as much fat as I wanted to. I wasn't packing on as much size as I wanted to. Amongst being a bot in training, not sleeping well, not optimizing my lifestyle. Apart from that, I realize now that main gaining, although it is effective and although it does work, especially if you're starting out, and although it's a much better approach than, like dirty bulking, ever since I started doing this, I've seen a drastic improvement in muscle mass and strength and all these things in my 2.5 year of lifting. So like that deep into my journey, only now am I seeing visible progress, which is crazy, right? And what I mean by clean bulking is eat in a calorie surplus, which is 500 calories above your maintenance. There's many calculators online which you can find and do that. Right now, I'm in quite a large surplus, at least 500 calories above maintenance, but I'm only eating clean, or at least I'm trying to. Obviously, I'm on my holiday now and I've kind of slipped up a bit. Other than that, I just tend to eat clean. So instead of trying to main gain or trying to stay lean, just clean bulk for the first 2 to 3 years. Do not try cut within your first 2 to 3 years of training. That's my first piece of advice when it comes to going from skinny to jacked. Make sure you're in a surplus and you're clean bulking. Another thing which was going to help with your quality of life in general, and by extension your ability to gain muscle, is optimizing your testosterone levels. Now, I made a video recently on how to optimize your testosterone levels, so click to watch that video. In that video I talk about things like the importance of getting 8 hours of sleep, going to the gym, doing all the things which are going to optimize your testosterone levels and therefore optimize your protein synthesis process, which at the end of the day leads to muscle repair and muscle growth. Another thing which I also sort of touched on in one of my videos on how to build an aesthetic physique are the prioritization of aesthetic muscles. Now, while I don't sort of agree with just focusing on these muscle groups, prioritizing and focusing on these muscle groups are going to enhance your jacked look, because these are the muscles which are going to make you look most aesthetic. But you should not just focus on these muscle groups, of course. Click here to watch that video. Another thing which I, again, speaking from experience, started doing, which as a result have seen massive improvements in my muscle mass, is training for bodybuilding instead of training for strength and doing 1 rep maxes and powerlifting. What I'm trying to say is, if you are trying to gain muscle, there are potentially better ways to go about it. This is not to say that avoid doing 1 rep maxes at all costs, avoid doing powerlifting. Lift heavy, but there's a way to do it, right? If you, every day you prioritize your 1 rep max on the deadlift or your squat or your bench, then over time this is not going to be optimal for building muscle, for packing on mass. What instead you want to do is prioritize your strength. Of course, it's very important to progressively overload week by week, add more weight to your exercises, but get stronger in that sense. For the first 2 years, I would do bench presses with my friends. I'd do 1 rep maxes, I'd deadlift, I'd squat. And not only were these exercises not the best for building up my chest, my back, and my quads, but also because they're such high intensity, low volume exercises, they will drain your energy for the rest of your workout. So you won't be able to push yourself as hard in the exercises which cause hypertrophy. If I were to start off my sessions with bench press 4 sets working up to my 1 rep max, then this would really drain my energy for the rest of my workout, and I wouldn't be able to go as hard on, an incline chest press or a side lateral raise, things that have proven to cause hypertrophy and add to muscle growth. So this is one thing which you want to be careful with, especially if you are starting out skinny. So basically, to put it simply, don't train for strength. Although strength is very important, you want to get stronger in the exercises which cause hypertrophy. You always want to train for hypertrophy if you're trying to get bigger. Train within the 6 to 10 range with heavy weights and the 10 to 15 range with slightly lighter weights, and mix those two, add in some drop sets, add in some rest pauses, add in some supersets. All these things which stimulate hypertrophy are going to give you a better chance at building muscle rather than deadlifts and heavy squats for 2 reps. While these are really cool and these are really fun, they're definitely not the best way to go about building muscle. And lastly, trust the process. You have to believe that you're going to get bigger. As a natural, you don't go from skinny to jacked in a day or a week or a month or even a year. It takes at least 3 years. Obviously, you're going to see progress along the way. It takes time, it takes effort. Just be patient and stick with it, and it will be all worth it in the end if you do the right things, if you do these things which I've outlined in this video. After 3 years, you will look at yourself in the mirror and realize what an impressive physique you've built. Time is going to pass by anyways. You might as well stick with the gym as the best addition to your life that you can make if you haven't already. Work hard, train hard, sleep well, eat well. That's all it takes. So, I hope this video has been helpful. These are just 5 crucial yet simple steps which you have to make sure you're doing. And as soon as I started incorporating these things in my training, in my day-to-day life, my results and my improvements have skyrocketed. I know it may seem that sometimes that you think you might have bad genetics, or you think you're not capable of getting bigger just because you've been skinny your whole life. You don't know what you're capable of. You don't know what's hidden inside of your genetics. So just make sure you're doing these things, and I promise you, you will see progress, you will see results. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this helpful. I would appreciate if you drop a like and subscribe. I'm coming out with a video very soon, but until then, peace.